Hey everyone, this is your camp counselor Brian, and today you're going to earn a new merit badge. You might be wondering where our other camp counselor is. Well, old man Jim is out chopping wood in the dead of night, shirtless, drenched in sweat, his mind flooded with regret, wishing he could just see his ex-wife Cheryl one last time. Her laughter fills his ears, her smile the moon above, so far away, yet a constant reminder of days full of light, laughter, and love. Anyways, let's go get that merit badge. My duty as your camp counselor is to guide you through this chaotic auditory landscape. Together we'll explore hidden coves full of audible treasure, rushing streams that we've all heard but maybe haven't looked at closely enough. And by the end of our journey, hopefully we'll both have a better understanding of this vast and beautiful musical forest, as well as ourselves. Isn't that nice? Oh, and one quick note, all my reviews are coming from a place of a musician who hasn't written any songs. I know that it's absolutely easier to critique than to create, so I feel the need to state that these are just my opinions. Take them or leave them. I don't claim to be, spitting facts or anything. I have too many opinions to not start a YouTube channel and record myself yelling into the endless void of the internet. So here we go. It's only been 2021 for about 2 or 3 months now, but it feels like a continuation rather than the start of something new. Presumably driven by pent-up energy given all the postponed events, the albums of 2020 were truly some of the best in quite a while, and this year looks like it's aiming to keep that trajectory going. Maybe it's best not to look at this as a new year, but just the next phase, a modern return to an internet-fueled roaring 20s. And what could be a better way to start our adventure into a new Gilded Age than the bombastic, yet sophisticated, world of jazz? Our first merit badge may be from a genre that's older than sliced bread, it's true, look it up. But we're certainly not looking at something that's jazzy in the traditional sense. No, this episode is all about this genre's surprise marriage to the music previously hidden behind the electronic beeps and boops of video games. The 8-Bit Big Band is truly quite large, with its members fluctuating between 30 to 65 members, and they're based in the only metropolitan area big enough to fit the size of their sound, New York. They released their first album in 2018, aptly titled Press Start, and 2019 saw the release of Choose Your Character, a truly endearing love letter to the sounds of Nintendo, Portal, Tetris, and more. And now, nearly 3 years after they helped elevate this unique subgenre, they've released album number 3. The gaming system's on, our avatar chosen, so now it's time to start playing. Will the album continue this tradition of excellence, or is it game over? Backwards Compatible was released on January 8th by Team Chunk Records, and according to the album notes, the band pushes the boundaries of what it means to be a big band in 2020, or 2021 I guess. America is the world's melting pot, so I guess bandleader Charlie Rosen figured jazz, one of our country's best exports, should follow suit. You might hear the usual horns and rhythm sections swinging along, but don't be surprised when the guitar becomes distorted and goes into a James Hetfield-inspired groove. Electronic noises will pop in like old friends and leave so that jazz's cousin funk can come and sit with the band for a while. Strings decorate the musical tapestry like a consistent color pattern. I could go on. Like a lottery winner on a shopping spree, the 8-Bit Big Band tries on outfit after outfit here, and they're too talented to not have any of them perfectly fit. The album describes itself as a no-holds-barred musical listening experience containing influences across genre and time, and I don't think I could say it any better myself. Alright, so getting into it, my top 3 tracks were definitely Gourmet Race from Kirby Superstar, Super Mario Land Underground, and Jump Up Superstar from Super Mario Odyssey. While all 3 are from Nintendo games, they're all very unique and make my list for a multitude of reasons. For Gourmet Race, summed up in one word, perfection. And I don't say that lightly. The sassy saxes, bold and punchy brass, soaring strings, it's Kirby in a 3-piece suit. That would be adorable, wouldn't it? But that's not all. In this cover of a song from a 1996 SNES game, there's a string quartet-like breakdown before a mariachi variation starts, but quickly vacates the audio space so the band can delve into funky rhythms, all to build up to the jazziest version of them all. And that, in and of itself, is the reason we need this band to exist. All I can say is yes, please give me more. And they do. When the band gets to Super Mario Land Underground, they let you know that they were just getting started before. The original is a simple 8-bit tune with an Arabian influence, so how does Rosen decide to orchestrate it for his band? He pulls in distorted guitars in the vein of Led Zeppelin's Kashmir to drive the tempo, writes in a breakdown influenced by an opera from the 19th century, look up Danse Bacchanale from Saint-Saens and Delilah if you're interested, mixes it all masterfully, and then lets the world's leading bari sax player come in to tie it all up. And who is that? Leo Pellegrino, or Leo P for short. If you haven't heard of him, do yourself a favor and just do some research. Leo bends the damn hunk of metal into doing whatever insane sounds he wants it to do. The only way I can think of describing him is the Jimi Hendrix of bari sax. He'll do some weird stuff that make you question if he's still holding a sax, and then just follow it up with standard virtuosic runs that would be brag-worthy in their own right. It's like he mastered everything done before, got bored, and reinvented the instrument over the weekend. So now we've established that Rosen is an unbelievably talented arranger. But what if they recorded a song that's already been outfitted for a jazz group? Well, Jump Up Superstar answers that question. The 8-bit big band is a gathering of the industry's finest, and this is where they prove it. It's a tad slower than the original from 2017's Super Mario Odyssey, but the track still perfectly captures that feeling of joy that the Nintendo version does, and I haven't even played that game. Other tracks that are enjoyable? Well, Hydro City Zone features Grace Kelly on the alto sax, bouncing and zipping all over the place like the Blue Hedgehog himself. Dire Dire Doc sets the stage for Rosen to showcase his own virtuosity as a bassist, and the end theme from Super Mario World? Oh boy, it's a swinging big band set up with a tap-dancing old country western violin, swooning over some piano, not piano. And then that all gets scraped aside by a slide whistle that welcomes in a double time feel that feels more in place with Looney Tunes than the Mustached Plumber. If you don't find your toes tapping and your fingers snapping along with this one, you have no taste and you don't deserve working ear holes. Sorry. Seriously, just go listen to the original. It sounds like a rough draft recording he did with a MIDI keyboard, as if this tune is just patiently waiting at the doorstep of jazz for decades, waiting for someone to orchestrate it like this. It's the nerdy girl in an 80s movie just waiting for someone to come let its hair down and give it some contacts. At the end of this, the arrangement is still the original though, through and through, with a flashy new look that makes all the boys' heads turn. Alright, so nothing's perfect. So what was bad? I'm gonna grab some straws here. Want You Gone is a fun song from the Portal universe. It kind of lives in the shadow of the first game's tune, Still Alive. The band covered it on their second album, but my enjoyment of that song over this one kind of says more about the source material than the arrangement. Hell, who couldn't enjoy this track's bass clarinet and Sinatra-inspired crooning? Birdman from Pilot Wings 64 is not that great overall, and again the source material isn't really my favorite, but the arranging here isn't groundbreaking like the other tracks. Suria's song goes in a direction I didn't like, which is particularly upsetting because I'm a huge Zelda nerd, and finally, Lost in Thoughts All Alone ain't my cup of tea. If you're a Fire Emblem fanatic, or enjoy the virtuosic harmonies of vocal jazz groups, then have yourself a listen. I'm gonna skip the lyrics here, they're all covers that don't really tie together, but you gotta love the wit of that Portal song, right? So, as far as the album cover, I absolutely love the 8-bit style. But I'm not a huge fan of it overall, especially considering their first album's nightclub look and the second album's character selection screen. They previously had so much charisma to them. Everything was crowded, filled to the brim, and it really conveyed the big band style. This just looks a little too simple. That being said, I do love the sprites of the consoles, the old gramophone, the musicians jamming together. It's not awful, but it's just okay. And speaking of those previous albums, if you know this band, then I would say this is a natural progression forward. Their initial release felt like an awakening, jazz's first foray into the electronic world. Album 2, saw what you'd expect from a video game sequel, improvements that take the source material to new heights. But this isn't a typical video game trilogy, and the 8-bit big band is clearly not done here. This album doesn't wrap things up for them, it's new ground. Album 1 was a tutorial, 2 was the first structured mission you do, and then now here we are, the moment when the overworld opens up, and the options feel endless. Like the Nintendo games the album plays through, there's this variety that can only be summed up as hard to wrap the mind around. Every time you listen to this, you'll forget about this little side adventure here, the fun character that pops up over there. The album may miss some of the heights of previous endeavors, but the exploratory arranging and masterful performances will absolutely leave you wanting to hit play all over again. In the words of the video game world, the replayability here is high. But what if you don't know the band? Should you start here? No, not really. Start on their YouTube channel. There's handpicked tunes that are a wonderful, good starting point, plus the visuals of a bunch of talented musicians all jamming together. It's too good to miss. And then dive into their first two albums, making sure to listen to Lonely Rolling Star from Katamari Damacy, Still Alive from Portal, and their wonderful cover of the Tetris theme. How was the album reviewed? Well, I found 4 reviews: Broadway World, Jazz Journal, Jazzist, and Something Else reviews. The 2 that gave them number ratings said 4 out of 5, and I can agree to that. They praised Charlie Rosen's arranging work, as well as the musician's virtuosity. Gordon Jack at Jazz Journal specifically said, "Being an old fuddy-duddy, I am afraid video games are a world that has completely passed me by." But he goes on to say that he still was able to thoroughly enjoy the music due to the energy the band brings. And jazzist writer Lev Borovkov wrote that this is not just a nostalgic attraction. Charlie Rosen writes excellent arrangements, manages a huge orchestra, and infects with his passion even those that are completely far from video games. But more importantly, do I enjoy it? If you can't tell, yes. Even the songs that I don't know, I wouldn't look them up, and these versions are better than the originals, except maybe for Want You Gone and Jump Up Superstar. Even if you're not a huge gamer, even if you haven't picked up a controller in years, even if you're a jazz enthusiast that sold their Xbox years ago and hasn't looked back since, give these guys a listen. You'll be glad you did. And did I mention Rosen is only 30 years old, has perfect pitch, and can play 70 instruments? I feel terrible that all I've done with my life is become a virtual camp counselor, and he's busy changing the future of music, but whatever, it's fine. Rosen is quoted as saying, "I see the music of many video games as musically equivalent to other great works of music, set to media such as film scores and Broadway shows. I truly believe that video game music deserves to be included in a new American songbook." And he's absolutely at the forefront of this effort. I can't wait to see what hits and hidden gems they cover next. I'd love to see less Nintendo, maybe some Kingdom Hearts, throw in a little Uncharted, and I know I said less Nintendo, but the Animal Crossing New Horizons music is just... They're all bangers, so just please do what you do. Oh, no, wait, nope, they put out an EP in 2020 full of Animal Crossing music, and they're all perfect. This band is too good. It's too good. Well, congrats, camper. You've earned your first merit badge. Jim should have been back by now with the firewood, but sometimes sitting alone amongst the dark, foreboding trees in the dead of night, well, it's just the best place to cry. And maybe, just maybe, that lonely wolf howling at the moon feels the same pain you do. Maybe he's missing his own little wolf Cheryl, longing for better wolf days ahead. So do your best to keep warm tonight, and we'll get you another merit badge soon, for the year is long and full of releases. Rest up and be ready to head out at first light. We're going to a greater place tomorrow.